All right, so next one we got a six-man tag team match, which is not as bad as the four-way. It's just 3-on-3. It's not like 2-on-2-on-2-on-2. Mogul Embassy, Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona going up against 6 or 9, which is Master Wato and Ryosuke Taguchi with Leon Ruffin. And they're going for the six-man tag team championship. And yeah, this one I don't remember too much. I just remember the Brian Cage is, in there doing Brian Cage things and whatever. And I know that in the end they did win the match. They still retained as the the six-man tag team champs. But yeah, this one I really don't remember as many details.
The only thing I will say, just as a fan of, I love Ryusuke Taguchi. He's also a comedic wrestler who's also a veteran. He probably is most famous for tag teaming with Finn Balor back in the day, but he's also a multi-time junior champion. And Master Wato is like, he just won the Best of Super Juniors, which is the equivalent of the G1 for juniors. But what made me laugh so hard is all of Ryusuke Taguchi is a comedic wrestler, but he's actually a pretty funny wrestler, and all of his moves are using his ass, and they're parody versions of other people's moves. So his finisher is, Shinsuke Nakamura's finisher, the Kinshasa. Mm-hmm. So in Japan, it's called the Bamaye, which is Filipino for murder him or kill him. Mm. But when Ryusuke does it, instead of using his knee, he goes upside down and does the pose, and he hits you with his ass, and he calls it the Bum-aye. And he also had, I'm glad we all got to see the B trigger. That's what he calls it. It's making fun of Kenny Omega, but it's his ass. And he gets you rebound on the ropes, and he runs bam, runs bam, runs bam. It's a parody of the V trigger, but it's his ass. He calls it the B trigger, like the butt trigger. His nickname is the Funky Weapon.
Ass trigger.
His nickname is the Funky Weapon because
but can it
say? I remember back when we were playing the Fatal Fury games, just random side tangent. The way, I know that Terry Bogard is supposed to be hitting you with his legs and his extended fists when he's spinning upside down, going to rising tackle. But in some games, it literally looks like his ass is just bashing your face back.
Yeah, it does. The graphics.
Not Ricky Rocks. I mean, Johnny and I used to joke and be like, ass tackle, when that shit. It just looks like you're the opponent's getting a face full of ass.
I'm sorry. The first thing that popped in my head just now, no real connection. I just thought of that stupid butt cannon nonsense from the 2012 Turtle Show.
Butt cannon. Yeah, pretty much.
Butt cannons.
Butt cannons. Yeah, but it was obviously, as soon as I saw, I'm like, wow, Master Wato and Ryusuke are going to be in this match? Awesome. And then I saw Leon Ruffin. I'm like, oh, they're dead. They're fucking dead. Leon Ruffin weighs barely over 100 pounds. I'm like, no, y'all are fucked. Y'all are fucked.
My God, yeah, okay, it's coming back to me now since you said that. It's like, my cousin who was watching it with me. Oh my God. My cousin, because like I say, he was watching it along with us, and he pretty much was saying, I should not be weighing more than a wrestler. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, that's literally, it's all like, you have Master Wato, winner of the Best of Super Juniors. You have Ryusuke Taguchi, former multi-time IWGP Junior Champion. And you got the crackhead Tyrone down the street. Wait, what?
It is so wrong. And, oh my God, that whole match was just so messed up. But what I hated is that they lost because they got the win off of the little puny thing. I was like, oh, come on, Dan. That's not fair.
He looked like, literally, I could see Brian Cage's face like, dude, I could kill this guy with my nipple. This is how fucking weak this guy is. And they, I could literally see Brian Cage actually just going, bah, and then just cut to Leon Ruff falling and hear the
Oh my God. Seriously, now it's coming back to me. I forgot he was there. Yeah, that's right. The little screen beam. I was saying, don't they have a cruiserweight division somewhere that he can be in? Because I mean, look at what he's surrounded by. He has no chance. And there is nothing believable. I mean, I know wrestling is what it is, but looking at that and that matchup, there's just nothing with him in there to make that seem realistic in any realm of possibility. But when he was in the ring, it was like, no. I still think they should have gotten the win off someone else and not him.
They need to reunite Cheeseburger and Willie Mack and have Mac and Cheese fight them, damn it. They need to. And then throw Jay White in the mix and have white mac and cheese. And it'll be so fucking great.
I like white mac and cheese.
I do too. White mac and cheese.
Any thoughts there, Johnny, of the match?
Yeah, please save us.
Too much about this match. Just, Brian Cage just picking people up and throwing them off the ring, and
that's the best part.
Attire compared to always wearing like the Sangief type underwear thingy he's been wearing all the time, so he looks a little different, So other than that, I don't really remember too much about the match.
And I'll take on all of you.
And the wrestlers that are underweight, I think they should have fought with Darby Allin maybe.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Darby would have been better.
Yeah.
I don't know. At this point,
Mogul Embassy wins and retains. So now we got the real match, the match that everyone's been waiting for. We got Daniel Garcia challenging Tatsuyoshi Shibata for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, which of course goes by Pure Wrestling rules and everything. And all I got to say is they really got the mileage out of that dance. Because the stuff I remember the most is, first of all, just him dancing a lot. That was the part where the dude, I guess, like sat down or something.
Shibata.
So Garcia danced his way all the way down to sit. I'm like, okay. And wait, okay, yes, Jupi. Wait, say all that again because it's all muted, Jupi. When you get too excited, the mic doesn't keep up with you for some reason.
Sorry. Oh, no, I'm just saying, I love when Shibata says, I don't like your dance. Okay, I'm done.
I love it because he's
the
right.
part where Garcia was dancing and shaking him hips too close to the ref's liking and everything. And then to top it off, well, first of all, the match was a bit shorter than I was expecting, but I guess since there's been so many pure matches because it gets offended all the time, it has to be different. I feel like that very first one, when you were introducing us to the rules for the first time, Jack, they really put it on full display. But now after so many, it's kind of like, yeah, we get the, we know, no limited rope breaks and one-handed whatever, all that stuff, So there's only one rope break in this entire match. That was interesting. But anyways, the thing is that in the end, was it Shibata?
Yeah, Shibata.
Got him in some kind of sleeper submission move. And this dumb fuck is still like... He passed out dancing. Literally danced till you drops. And that's how he lost the match. And I'm all like, what the fucking hell? And I like him doing the thing over to the ref, and the ref's like, hey, whoa, I don't know what the hip's been, dude.
I don't care if your hips, it's like, I don't care if your hips don't lie. I don't need to know about it.
The problem is the problem is I'm 100% behind Shibata because the thing of it is like, it's not, I'm obviously, I love comedic shit in wrestling. I mean, like I said, I love Dalton Castle. I love fucking Ryusuke Taguchi. I love Cheeseburger. I love fucking stupid shit all the time. That's fine. But the problem is like the downward thing to that is when you have a comedic gimmick, they force it down your throat during serious times.
Yeah,
and I'm
just like the ref, he was trying to force it down the ref's throat.
Yeah. And it's like the whole scissor me thing is like, scissor, 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 and then they look at you and go, why aren't you taking me seriously? Like, bitch.
Idiot.
I counted the entire match. I counted the entire match like twice that like Garcia actually did offense to him. Like that was it.
I like the part where he actually goes crazy and does like that because I'm like, okay, now you're just trolling. Now you're just purposely pissing the guy off.
See, what I was waiting for when he started, like, what I thought he was going to start doing, like, he going to do something, like, really silly dancing, and Shibata just said, I don't like your dancing. Yeah. Something I wanted.
No, but see, but that's the funny thing is what Shibata did was genius because what he actually did was he basically was like, he showed him how much of a child he is. He literally showed him. He's like a temper tantruming little kid, and he just sits down. He's like,
"Yeah, I'm gonna sit here until you finish your crab, and you ready to get serious. I'm gonna pay attention to you." I love that he did that.
And then when he started hitting him, you're like, "Oh shit!" Like, oh. like I'm like, that's the problem. Is like everyone even says like Garcia has a lot of skill, but where is it?
And it's
the same. The same problem happened with it's the same thing that happened the week before on Dynamite. I'm like,
big dance off.
Yeah. And I'm literally like sitting here with like, are you fuck? And like the worst thing was the commentators were trying to justify the stupid shit that you were seeing in the ring. Because if you listen to the commentators, they go, hey, there's different kinds of wrestling. And then Jericho's like, yeah, it's entertainment. Don't take it too seriously. I'm like, this is the finals of a fucking tournament, guys. Finals. And I'm sorry to say this. I could never see WWE. Could you see WWE doing this legitimately in like a King of the Ring finals?
No, honestly, I really couldn't.
Again, it's not the comedic shit. It's the timing of the comedic shit. That like the key to comedy is all about timing. It's like the key to comedy is all about timing, and you have to do it at the right moments. Like there's that one joke, like the joke from Happy Gilmore where he's like, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. He's like, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast? He's like, no, like it's timing. You're like, you wait, you pick your moments. But the thing of it is like, I love exactly what FTR's rant was 100%. I 100% agree with them. It's like,
this is going to be a serious match. No comedy stuff. All that.
Yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right. I'm like, if you're going to bring in that comedy shit, you're going to fucking lose.
Well, at least
like,
he's on the right
MJF though, because MJF is he's a good dancer. He's got the moves. He's a good singer when it comes to it. It's like, is there anything that he can't do? I want to see him make a fucking omelet or some bullshit in some skit somewhere and watch him make it perfectly.
I'm going to predict, by the way, I'm going to predict something about Collision. My theory is that this is what I think is going to happen. FTR is going to retain. MJF's going to challenge Adam Cole. And then Roderick Strong is going to cost Adam Cole the title and then join Bullet Club Gold to say fuck you to Adam Cole. That's what I think is going to happen. Because that would be a great draw.
Honestly, I know a lot of people they think that this whole situation with MJF Adam Cole, they think it's stupid because they say they're showing how stupid Adam Cole is. But I'm saying, but with Roderick Strong and stuff, I think there's going to be some kind of a twist because they're playing him into this. So they're setting something up. So that would be a good little.
It's either Adam Cole is overplaying his hand. It's either Adam Cole is tricking MJF to give him a title shot, which is more than likely what it was.
That's what I think.
But I think in doing so, he's going to backstab Roderick Strong is going to cost him. And then he's going to say, like, he's going to go up to Roderick. He's like, hey, it was part of my plan to get a title shot. And then you screwed me out of the title. And he's all like, I'm not your pawn anymore. I'm not your pawn anymore, Adam. And I'm not your friend anymore. And like, kick him in the dick and then leave. And then Jay's like, he's my friend now. Like, you'd be like, yeah. Like,
well, we'll see how it happens.
Anyway, that's my theory.
Okay.
But then again, there I go fantasy booking, and it's never what I want it to happen.
Well, but anyway.
What are your thoughts, Johnny? Are you going to buy those red leather pants for the female fans out there?
I didn't get my thoughts yet. Kind of, sort of.
Or me.
Oh, well. What are your thoughts, Juice?
Yeah, okay. It was my thoughts on the match. It was okay. I did think it was kind of silly, and I did think the dancing was kind of, like you said, it was ill-timed. I was laughing my head off at it because how silly it was, but it was ill-timed. But I like the fact that Shibata was like, I am here for a serious match to show the contrast between him and Garcia. So I'm just wondering, at some point, I doubt it, if they're going to have Garcia be like, I'm not into the entertainment thing. I want to be taken more seriously. And he really starts to break away from the entertainment thing. And maybe he'll just start doing the dancing when he comes down to the ring instead of trying to gyrate on everyone in the ring. I doubt it.
It's possible.
I kind of doubt it, though, but I think that would be something interesting to go by, and then maybe get Jericho in there to be like, hey, why aren't you doing your thing so much anymore? I'm tired of not being taken seriously, or something like that, Yeah. And, if going against Shibata, I was just thinking about it. It keeps playing in my mind for something like that and have some character growth or development. And going back to one more thing, jumping back to Dynamite, when they did do that dance hall, the commentator said something really, really silly. And this is when I jokingly asked Mark over here, I said, Mark, you need to dance. And of course he said no. But the commentators, I forgot who it was, said something like, they're Latinos, so apparently all Latinos are supposed to know how to dance. I was like, that is the dumbest crap.
Not this one. But thoughts, Johnny?
Okay, so what I thought about this match, despite the repetitive dancing, I actually thought the match was really good. I think it was actually one of the best matches. I wouldn't say like the best matches, but it was still a good match. They hyped it up a little too much to my liking. Well, not that it's wrong that they hyped it up, but I think they don't know what they're doing with Garcia too much because he's a really good wrestler. And he actually almost won this match in several moments of this match. So, he's actually a very good opponent against Shibata, but I think he overdid the comedic dancing, and the only thing I did like about it is just Shibata. You could just see his expression in his face. It's like he's probably thinking to himself, "Okay, when are you gonna stop doing that stupid dance?" Like you could see his face. He just looks like, while Daniel keeps taunting him with the dance and dancing around him. Like, okay. But yeah, other than that, it was still a very good match. But in terms of Daniel Garcia, I think they have to, if he's going to do the gimmick, if he's going to do the dancing, he has to be more like, they have to make him more like Dalton Castle's kind of way of fighting, that he can still do his gimmick, but he can still actually fight the match good. Like he can still do what he's supposed to do in the ring, and not just dancing all the time. Because I think that, especially for this pay-per-view, I felt like a lot of the dancing just really got in the way.
Yeah, what happened is that I think Tony Khan or whoever's in charge of the gimmicks gets you carried away with the gimmicks sometimes. Because Daniel Garcia, first of all, he never did dancing in the beginning. And then other times, whenever he did do it, it was more like disrespecting or trolling. It was only once or twice during the match while the opponent's down or something, but not like this. So this one, it's like, oh, hey, the dancing is over with the crowd. No, it's not. Let's have them keep doing it, and all that kind of bullshit. And it reminds me of whenever there was that one match where There was lots of like Ty and Sammy kissing a lot. So there's one match they're acting superly overly lovey-dovey during the entire tag match, and it's like and then they find the gimmick. They think, hey, the crowd loves it, and they just really make it like let's cram as many examples of this gimmick as we can in this one match, and that's probably another thing that's kind of.
Yeah, seriously, the only time Garcia should be doing his dance is just coming into the ring. He shouldn't be doing it all the time in the ring. Like I said, it's funny, but like you said, if it was a joke match, fine. But like a title match or a championship match or anything like that, it really does not have a place in that match. And I agree 100% with Jack on that one.
I think like how he did it with the beginning, I guess you could do it as a taunt, like and from a distance, and like hey like say Shibata looks like he's like staring at Garcia like hey this, and then Garcia whatever, and then he does a dance like oh like kind of like in a tongue-full way. But just the way they did it in this match, especially, they just dancing around him, and it's just like doing it like nonstop. I mean, yes, I get it. The fans love that shit. I'm pretty sure there's TikTok videos of people doing the Daniel Garcia's dance.
I kind of doubt that one.
But there's a limit, and I think that kind of like how Dalton Castle does his gimmick, but he's so able to perform well and still be taken seriously as a wrestler. I think Daniel Garcia, because especially Daniel Garcia wants to be very heel-ish. Mm-hmm. So you need to kind of reduce a little bit of that dancing if you want to be taken more like as a heel wrestler. That's just my opinion.
The joke should never compromise the wrestler. That's the thing. And the problem is it like Khan doesn't quite understand that concept, because it's like, he keeps doing it with Daniel. He did it with Daniel Garcia. He did it with Orange Cassidy so long that it destroyed a lot of people's like, I can't see this guy's champion, until he eventually had to turn it around. And even still, people are still kind of meh because of all that. Yeah.
So anyways, guys, this is one of the bigger matches here. This one really got me. We got the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver going up against the Righteous Man with Stu Grayson, because for the last couple of weeks they have been trying to pull in Stu Grayson on their side, and then the last couple of weeks he's actually been wrestling with them like as a trios team and stuff. So now there's like the big one, like let's actually have a Dark Order versus versus the Righteous, fight without honor. So weapons and everything was allowed. And right off the bat, it was awesome. I like how everyone was fighting whatever, but you still have that big face-off with Uno and Grayson just staring at each other. Because, of course, they started at Dark Order. They were buddies. They were tag partners in the indies, all that kind of shit. So I like how they're so, like, just a face down. They're completely ignoring everyone else fighting and doing whatever. They're just, like, looking at each other, before they start teeing off and everything. And then, it just gets crazy, barbed wire and shit, people bringing bags full of thumbtacks and stuff, bags full of Lego blocks. Like, oh, no, that's
Legos.
You sick fuck.
Yeah, I was so happy they brought the Legos out.
And then they were tearing apart at Uno's mask and everything. I thought they were going to just fucking rip the whole thing off. I'm like, holy shit, And it was insane. It was like bloody. It was crazy. Weapons and stuff. It just really got me, And, in the end, the Dark Order actually won, which is not only because it's rare that they win matches in general, but this was a more, like, it was a more serious match, because the thing is, it was more personal, because what's his face, Silver and them, they're always, like, all smiles and stuff, but now with this shit going on, they were, like, serious, they were pissed, they were like, you betrayed us, or you took our friend from us. It just felt more whatever. And if they keep the feud going, or just keep up that momentum and, not make them the goofy guys again, I mean, it could work for them, right?
Right. That's what I love about, I'm like, isn't it hilarious that Ring of Honor in 2 months can do better booking for the Dark Order than they have in 2 years in AEW? I mean, realistically, am I wrong? Am I wrong for saying that? Because it's like, That's the thing. It's like, dude, the story's there. It's so obviously that you could use it. And like, I love this concept of like, hey, why don't we do something with the Dark Order? Why don't we give them a push? We don't have to give them like a main event push, but we could give them like a big push. What if, who's to say, what if the Dark Order end up, because in Ring of Honor, there's also a trios division. What if they start racking up points and then they end up taking the belts from the embassy?
Yeah.
Like that would be huge. They finally get tag titles after all this time.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And like, I love the Righteous. I absolutely love Vincent.
I love the over-exaggerated snapping and shit when he comes into the ring.
I love him because he is what they were trying to do with Bray Wyatt's character, like, but like it's fully realized because he's more like a Charlie Manson kind of crazy dude. And I love saying that to people, like just the most random shit, and then ending it with, dig what I'm saying, man. It's like so great. It's like, and then the gods of, it's like, and then the great eldritch gods will come upon you and smile and laugh. Dig what I'm saying? And then someone's like, oh, not really. You're like, okay. But no, I love this match. It was awesome just getting to see. I was like, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. Yes, they brought the Legos. Like, they never use the Legos. They used to do that all the time for the Fights Without Honor matches, because they would do hardcore matches. But Fights Without Honor matches are different because in according to Ring of Honor, they're basically like, we're not liable. Basically, they're like, we're not liable for whatever you do.
It reminds me of, I mean, the last time someone told me that there was a Lego match somewhere around the year, last year or whatever, but the only one I remember was like the very first Spider Fest. They had Lego blocks and stuff.
Yeah. It was primarily a thing that was done like in the deep indies. But I know, because they always try to one-up each other. One thing that is funny on a side note, Matt Cardona introduced the hardcore nerd match, which is where you bring like collectibles and use those as weapons. And so like one of the things he would use, he did in one match, he had broken wrestling figurines.
Oh no.
In a bag, and then like you sprinkled them in the ring and just slam people on them. They're like, oh, like, cause I have like these old like 80s like bendy parts like ripping out. And it's like so funny, like stupid shit like that. But I love this match because it's a good story that's going on with the whole betrayal of the Dark Order and Alec, and they're finally getting to do some shit, and they got a really good win, and they all looked really good at the end of the match, which is really what you're supposed to do. Isn't it funny, Jupi, don't you find it funny that a match with 6 people in a hardcore setting is more functional to watch than a match with 4 teams? Isn't that funny how that works?
It's just, at least that I could keep up with that match. I mean, like I said, I still prefer it like just fewer people, but yeah, even with that match, it was easier to follow. I mean, after they put down the Legos, how can you not follow, right? I'd never seen that before, so when they said, that's like, those are Legos?
Yeah, they're like, you're so fun.
Never seen that before.
Oh, I remember one time, another side note, I remember one time I was watching there was a Ring of Honor match where they used the Legos. They used Legos later in the match, but earlier in the match, because I guess like, I wanted to say it was a Claudio. It was really early in Ring of Honor. And he pulled out those things that are, you know, when you order a large pizza and they have those little table things?
Yeah.
Those little like table things that are in it to hold the boxes. They had a bag full of those and he slammed someone on those.
What are those things called?
I can't remember, like the box separators.
You know,
the little, they look like little, yeah. But I was just like, that's the most random weapon. But I also could see that really hurting when you get dropped on it. But like I said, anyway, those are my thoughts. What do you think? What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny?
For this match, I don't remember too much about the match. I just remember that it was really bloodied. I forgot if the wrestler bit somebody, like a head or the face or whatever. I don't know. Like, I remember there was a lot of blood, but I remember they did the whole like opening the bag and there's nails on the floor. And like, okay, we've seen that before, so we know it's going to be something serious, right? But then it was really funny when later on they opened the other bag and it's not more nails or anything else. It's more like can be dangerous. It's just a whole bunch of Legos. Like, honestly, why are there even Legos to begin with underneath? Like, yeah, after the match, just put out a bag of Legos. It's just some Legos.
Well, isn't it obvious? -1 brought them.
So it was funny, and it's very funny how when they opened the bag with Legos, the referee's like, "Oh my God, Legos!" Like the way they did it, like it was just like, and the camera zooming in the Legos.
Can you imagine a bag full of fucking tiddlywinks and jacks and things like?
Oh my God, Jacks! And no, not those little plastic ones. I mean the old school ones that I used to play with sometimes, the metal ones. Yeah, put that on the floor. Then throw Moxley on it. Well, he probably would anyway. He probably wouldn't even need anyone.
He's got the marbles.
On there.
He's got the marbles. He's got the poker chips.
But yeah, I did like the match. This is again another match where it's very serious. They do some little comedic takes into the match, but that doesn't take away from how good and impactful the match was. So obviously, I'm just saying, Manny Garcia, they need to do something a little different with him in that aspect.
How did we get to Daniel Garcia? Did he just jump into them? They doing the Lego blocks and the thumbtacks. Daniel Garcia just like out of nowhere.
Y'all need me to dance? No, stop it. Get out of here. All right, I'll be at the
you open the bag of a lot of like little dancing like Funko Pops of Daniel Garcia, then you power pop
slam him like bam.
That one made Jericho cry. It's entertainment.
It's like somewhere Matt Cardona is like weeping, just like crying if they use like really like this. It's like, oh my God, he's using the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive action figures and and he's beating him with it. And then like it cuts to Matt Cardona like just bawling. He's like, I feel pain for some reason. Like
all right, guys, now to end it with the double main event, we got both big titles here, the man and women version of the Ring of Honor championships. First one we got is Claudio Castagnoli, current Ring of Honor World Champ, defending the title against Pac. Because in the last match, I believe with the Blood and Guts, they got too much in each other's faces and stuff, so it led to this. And yeah, decent match. I can't really remember too much about it, though. I was way more invested in the match that follows, but it's all right and everything. I don't know. I think I was a blank for this one for some reason. But Jupes, you probably had a better viewing of it. You can give your thoughts on it.
Like you were saying, because even at the time, I didn't think it was really stood out to me about this match at all, except for the couple of times where I keep wanting to say Cesaro and when Claudio grabbed Pac on the ramp and he did like his big swing, then it would drop him, then he'd pick him up and he would swing him again, then he stopped. He was like, yeah, cool. And wait, I don't remember who won the match.
Claudio retained.
Oh, Claudio, he's still retained,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't remember how it played out. I don't know. It just didn't work for some reason. I
can't remember how he won either.
Know, this is more...
Oh man. Well, you know what it is. Maybe he won't talk around and Pac tapped out.
No, he didn't tap. No, it was.
I was.
Oh, you know what it was? He did the Ricola bomb. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, I remember because when he did that, Wendy was joking. She was like Ricola, she was.
Yeah, it was the Ricola. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember he set him up because he had him in the Dominator, and then like he like bashed him in the corner, and then he flipped him around, and then the Ricola bomb. That's what it did. That's what it was. I remember.
Oh yeah, well, thank you for reminding me of that one, Mark. That I was going Ricola. Okay, no, okay. Here's what I was thinking. My where was I going with this? Because now my brain just shut off for a second there. No, this is one of the matches where I think would have been better. I mean, even though it was a championship, it should have been on the pre-show, honestly. It just did not have, it was just a very weak, it was very weak to me. The whole match,
I think one of the problems was
setup.
that
I mean, I know their Pac just got back and they need to do something with him.
I just feel that they're taking advantage of the fact that, of course, Pac came back and let's give them a big match, whatever. But the thing is, most of the time, these big championship matches, and emphasis on most of the time, because Lord knows not always, but most of the time the thrill is like, can he beat him or can the champ retain? Mm-hmm. And just right off the bat, I just saw it as a throwaway match. I wasn't really expecting Pac to win or whatever. You know, nothing really gave me that vibe that, oh, you know, Claudio made his match this time. Oh shit, well, you know, like.
Well, here's what actually happened. So, okay, and this just shows you how out of the loop Tony Khan is. He's so out of the loop of his own product. No, like exactly. Here's exactly what the problem was. Okay, obviously the match that they were going to book was originally supposed to be Claudio defending it against Eddie Kingston, possibly having Eddie Kingston win. More than likely. Problem was, Khan had already Khan had already pre-planned that match from the previous pay-per-view. And then Kingston went over to Japan to win the New Japan Strong Belt. Once he won the belt, because for Japan to give him the strong belt, that means they have a lot of good faith in him. For that's a big fucking thing. So by him having the strong belt, he had to be in the G1, which fucked up the scheduling for Khan. And Khan didn't factor that in of like, oh, Khan, he's going to be overseas. And I'm like, you didn't plan this shit? So then he wanted, okay, the substitute Eddie Kingston was going to have was Mark Briscoe. They were supposed to have Mark Briscoe versus Claudio. That was going to be the substitute. But then Khan didn't know or didn't realize Mark Briscoe wasn't going to be there because his dad needed knee surgery. And he's the only person his dad has because his mom's dead and his brother's dead. The only person he has is his son, Mark. So Mark couldn't do it because he had to have full knee constructed surgery. So it had to be around the same time so he could be there to help him recover. So there was no way for him to be at the pay-per-view. And Khan didn't plan for contingency of any of this because he didn't pay attention to any of this. So leading up to Death Before Dishonor, that's why the previous Death Before, like the weeks leading up to it, he had no matches on the card. The only match he had built up was Athena versus Willow, and that was barely built up. And so that's why at Blood and Guts, Pac had to betray the Blackpool Combat Club so that way he'd have a reason to challenge Claudio at Death Before Dishonor.
Now, my question is, was the Shockmaster too busy that weekend? Or
who?
Was the Shockmaster too busy?
Right. Well, no, so the problem was the reason why no one gave a shit about this match, the short version is, it was a substitute of a substitute with no planning. Like, there was zero planning, and it shows. I mean, think about it. Pac and Claudio are Pac and Claudio are two of the best athletes AEW has, and no one gave a shit. Because there's no build to it. You could have had Kenny Omega in there for all we cared, and we'd be like, okay, what, why, what? Okay, that's random, but sure. And we still would have been like, okay, this is kind of random. Like, because it would have made just as much sense to put Kenny Omega in there. Hell, it would have made as much sense to put Matt Jackson in there. It wouldn't have mattered because it's like there's no build to it, so no one gave a shit. So for the match itself, it was. And
that's why I said it should have been to me, that's a 0-hour match.
Yeah. Or you could have just he could have just fucked off and not been on the title, not been on the card, and had a number one contender match instead or something.
There you go. That builds up something.
Yeah, and then you could have built that up to the next show or the next pay-per-view or whatever. Or had like a gauntlet match or something. There's so many things he could have done instead. But the problem is the match itself was just kind of okay, because it's just like, so the whole reason you now act like you hate each other was because Pac the bastard hit you with the fence in a steel cage match? Really? That's it? Okay. Like, so no one cared. And the match itself, like you even said, Jupi, you barely even remember the match. I barely remember the match because none of us had an investment in the match. So if you don't have an investment, then why the hell are you going to have the match? That's like that's booking 101. Yeah. I'm like, I literally had to forget. I forgot how he won until you mentioned and then I thought about, oh yeah, you use the Rocola bomb. Yeah, but it was an okay match, but it didn't even fucking the Garcia match I was more invested in than that match. At least Garcia has outright come out and challenged Shibata. Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't even like TV worthy. It was just there to me.
Well, that's why even what I just said, I don't even know which program I would have put that match on.
It should have been kind of like that MJF type stuff where it's just like the first match on the card and then like, let's move on. Like, okay, the champ has to defend his title. Okay, he defended it, let's move on. You know,
this should have been on Rampage.
Yeah.
This should have been on Rampage for like 10 minutes. That's me.
Okay.
So what do I think about this?
You know what? If they want to put anyone against Claudio, they should have just picked like any random person, that the Blackpool Combat Club is pissed off and just be like, hey, you know what? You pissed me off. I want to beat you up now. I mean, that has no build up either, but why not, you know? Anyway, how about you, Johnny?
They could have brought back Barry Horowitz for his big comeback tour, you know?
My unpopular opinion of this match, because again, this match just seemed very random, very like last minute. And Jack explained much in details why this is so like weird and random and so like last minute, and it's like, what, all of a sudden Pac has a feud with Claudio and vice versa? Like what? Like when did this happen, right? But I think the problem with this match is that Claudio at this point is too predictable. He's always doing the same thing. He's always doing this thing. That yes, that's his gimmick. It's a good gimmick. But I feel like the matches that Claudio's been fighting with lately, it's like you almost know for a fact, okay, Claudio's going to win this match. So I think what they should have done this match, because this match was kind of darish and kind of predictable, they could have surprised the audience and maybe Pac could have won this match. At least that would have made the match more interesting and more like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that to happen. But, and don't get me wrong, I mean, Pac is a very good talented wrestler, but I'm just saying that the way they're, the way they have Claudio always winning by doing that spin thing all the time, it's kind of, it would have been more of a shock that Pac won this match. And I think that would have actually made the match a lot better if he won.
Yeah, that would have been a saving grace if Pac actually won, because then at least it makes it like, like you have to watch this match to see how he got the title kind of thing, but, yeah. So anyways, yeah, I think we all did our thoughts, right? Because, anyways, here's the big one for me. I know it's a double main event. For me, I felt this was a main event. Another thing, too, I remember that's another thing I don't remember, because I remembered I kind of dozed off a bit somewhere. And when I woke up, I was like, oh, fuck, I hope I didn't, miss the Willow and Athena match. But I was surprised that it didn't go on yet. And I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, dude, is this going to be like the main event?
Yeah, it was the main event. I was so happy. I was like, yeah.
Yep. So Athena defending his title against, oh God, Athena defending her title against Willow Nightingale. And what can I say? It was a good match. The most I remember about it was that it was serious, like more down and dirty. Athena, even though she was a heel, there was no like, jumping inside the ring and throwing people up against the stairs. She kept most of the action in the ring. They were both really going at it and everything. The part I remember the most was all the dynamic kickouts and stuff. Like near the end, it was crazy. And the only thing that got me, I was surprised by the finish because it subverted my expectation. Because first of all, she landed the O face on Willow, but Willow fucking kicked out.
First time.
And I was like, oh,
first time anyone's ever kicked out of it.
I was surprised. But then she did the second O face. And for me, it was like different emotions. Like first I was thinking, okay, if she lands this, that's it, because ain't no way she's going to kick out. But then she switched it into a submission. So I was thinking, okay, it's a submission. That gives Willow a chance to still fight it out or do something. Or no, she still like passed out and whatever. And wow, so I went from, oh shit, she lost. Oh shit, she has a chance. Oh shit, she lost anyway. It was like so crazy.
Yeah.
But it was so intense, And not only that, but didn't Willow actually get her in the Dr. Bomb? Or
yeah,
something?
she got her in the she got her in the Dr. Bomb, and then she got her in the Dr. Bomb, and she kicked out. And it was just like I said, neither of them have had people really kicked out. Well, Willow has had one or two people kick out of hers, but no one. I've never. Like, because I've followed Athena even pre-WWE. She was in Shimmer. No one ever kicked out of that move. That was like a match ender. So, like, for her to kick out of the O-face was like, holy shit. Like, this is amazing. And then, like I said, she,
So you can verify that almost nothing beats Athena's O-face.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I'm like, it was... I loved it. I think it was probably like the best. It was legitimately match of the night. It deserved to be the main event. And it was definitely Willow's best match she ever had. It's probably Athena's best match she ever had. And it was honestly like a match that like I love that chant when I hear the chant of this women's wrestling, I was like, that was awesome. And just getting to see, two girls who really have busted their ass in this industry to finally get like the respect that they deserve, and getting to show off their talents. And the ending really got me like, oh, the part where like because Athena Athena normally does like the stomp to the thing to the title, but no, she shook her hand and she goes like that was cool. And it was a great way to like, I really was like, I kept saying, I thought Willow was going to win because like she would have been the perfect transitional champion for Athena. And now I'm curious who Athena is actually going to fight next. And I hope that she eventually starts fighting some more Joshi, because I would love for her. Like, I mean, if Willow could go to Stardom, if Willow could go to New Japan and fight Julia, who's to say the door can't swing the other way around and someone from Stardom could come and fight Athena? I would love that. Especially Suri. If Suri got in the ring with Athena, she'd fucking destroy her. But anyway.
Tell Suri to drop a big box of a certain powder on Tony Khan's doorstep. Maybe we'll start. Maybe we'll talk.
Suri could fucking destroy literally like anyone in the women's roster. That girl is like, oh my God, she's so good. Her kicks are like fucking dynamite. Anyway, but no, I love this match. I loved it. I thought it was the best. It was the best match of the night. It had to be the main event, and I'm happy that it was like any of the problems I had for the pay-per-view kind of were like, as long as this one match is good, I'll be okay. And it was really good. So I was like, okay, all right. That's my opinion. What do you think, Jupi?
Oh my gosh, I loved this match. Like I said, it was the best match on the entire card to me. Because, I mean, like you said, you had your low points. Like, it kept going back and forth. I mean, they kept doing, like, these awesome moves. You just think, and they didn't have moves where it seemed like little issue where it's like, okay, we're obviously setting something up. Let's go. I mean, it was nice. It was fluid. I have no words for how great this match was to me. I can't describe it. And as matches like this, I wish a certain someone that wears glasses could see and give all actual critics, and give an actual critique and give his opinion on it, because he does seem to have a thing against women's matches. Just saying, he seems very dismissive of them. And I thought this was a great match because it was highlighting that Athena even managed to pick up Willow and slam her. I thought that was
a shock. Yeah, that was insane. I was like, oh my God, she actually picked her up and slammed her. I'm like, holy shit. I totally forgot about that. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So later on, Athena's like, so yeah, brother, I was picking up Willow. I could feel all the muscles in my back tearing as I was flipping her over for a body slam.
And then of course the next day, she had to go to Japan, and she was but of course she was over there like an extra week because apparently times works differently there. But anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed the match, and like I said, with the finish, that's what really got me, because it was like it was going back and forth, and I just knew that Willow was going to win, and then Athena won. But I, like you pointed out, I did like the fact that instead of Athena doing her normal heelish thing, she showed honor and respect towards her opponent. That was the biggest shocker for me, given how much fun she obviously having doing this heel work. So, great match, best match on the card division. It's told an interesting story. Willow, I just wish they would have, like you said, built it up more. But Tony is very short-sighted because he don't know how to book anything sometimes. But and I don't have a right to say that because I'm not into wrestling like you guys. If someone can notice that, there's a problem.
Well, I did like how they pointed out. I did like how they pointed out, like, technically Athena is still undefeated in Ring of Honor because the match that Willow beat her in was on AEW for the Owen Hart Cup. Even though they're both signed to Ring of Honor, technically Athena is still undefeated in Ring of Honor, which I'm like, oh, so it does kind of preserve this kind of undefeated streak, which is really cool that they did that. And I wish, like, that's one of the things that I was like, oh, to be 100% honest with you, I thought, knock on wood, I mean, well, I wish it would happen this way. I honestly thought when they were going to eventually have Hook lose a match, it was going to be like, oh, Hook's going to show up on Ring of Honor, and then he'll lose a match. But he'll still be undefeated. But then we all know how that shit show happened. Anyway, what are your thoughts, Johnny?
This definitely one of the biggest highlight of the entire pay-per-view. There were many moments in this match that I actually thought Athena was really that close to winning the match. That's just how good Athena. I'm sorry, I'm saying it backwards. I mean, Willow, there were times I thought she was like this close to winning the match. It was actually kind of a bittersweet moment when Athena won the match because, of course, Athena's Athena, but Willow was so close to winning the match, and I would have actually have loved it if she won this match. But, definitely this is like one of the best matches. And another thing is that this is like the most serious I've seen Willow fight in this match. Because, she does her gimmick as well, the music playing, and everybody's, the music, whatever. But the thing is that, especially in this match, she was really determined to, all right, she really wanted to beat the hell out of Athena.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Johnny. So in other words, you're saying that unlike Daniel Garcia, Willow knows when to stop dancing.
Yeah. I also think if you haven't seen, just on a side note, if you guys haven't seen the match, between Willow and Julia on Independence Day show of New Japan on July 4th or July 5th. That match like elevated her to the point where she could be like a legit contender. And this was like the culmination of that. And like even Julia herself was like she thought she was a joke. Julia thought she was a joke until she fought her and she goes, no, she's legit. Like she actually is good. So like I felt the same way here where it's like, you know, there are people that have like comedic thoughts about her, but she's actually really good in the ring.
But yeah, this is definitely the way how to book a main event, and especially when it comes to women's wrestling, because pretty much like what Wendy said, there are not really that many like great women's matches like to be a main eventer, and this definitely is the way to do it. So it can be done. They just have to do it more often, and obviously. Yeah, and I think it was pretty good, and it was pretty refreshing to have the main event, you know, as a women's match, you know, because usually it's, you know, typically, come on, it's usually the guys, you know, so it's nice that for a little change, there's actually a very good, legitimate, you know, match, you know, and it's, you know, I guess the female version of it, you know, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now, another thing about the women's division I want to say also is that it was a coincidence or whatever, but this past Dynamite, we had a match of Britt Baker, DMD, versus Taya Valkyrie. That was unfortunately very like boring, very slow, and I'm surprised because I know Britt Baker's kind of but Taya usually brings more to the table, but they were both like just off their game for that match. But the funny thing is, when the match ended, some random dude in the crowd had a thing that said, like, improve the women's division or some shit like that.
I saw that.
The camera actually zoomed in on it.
I saw that. I was like,
I wonder if
Yeah.
cameraman got docked pay or some shit or whatever. But, like, yeah, like, Tony, you got to do something. Because you do have some awesome women on there. You got you know, Layla Hirsch. You got Willow, you got Athena, you got Chris Statlander,
you got Thunder Rosa. Where the hell has she been?
Yeah, but well, she's I guess on Collision now. But you know what I mean? Build up the roster, put them more in matches, put them more on TV. Like Statlander's the TBS champ. We should not be going 2 or 3 weeks without seeing her on TV.
Yeah. Or what about like I said, you could have where the fuck has Jade been? I don't know where she's been. And then
she's in Japan now or something, I think. And now we don't even know if she's coming back or something, I guess. But where's Kiera Hogan? Where's Layla Hirsch? Where's Red Velvet? You know, have them start building their stock in the company. You know what I mean?
Right.
And give them some storylines to make us invested in why they are actually having most of these matches. Because to me, it just comes across as, hey, you have a title.
Oh, you want to hear?
Fight.
You guys want to hear?
That's how it feels to me. It's not like, oh, we have an actual.
You want to hear one of the biggest, one of the things that came out this past week? I forgot to mention in the news report, but I kind of wanted to save it for after the show to basically prove my point. With all of this terrible booking, Tony Khan, it was revealed this week that Tony Khan refused to, he fully offered, he even said he didn't even want that much pay. Bret Hart had offered to become a booker for the main show of Dynamite. Because I know Khan is focusing more on Collision, and he basically said, I want to be the booker of Ring of Honor for a matchmaker. He wanted to be the matchmaker to build up the stories and stuff. And Khan said, no, but they might have considered making him a general manager. And Bret Hart said no. So he literally told Bret Hart, one of the best wrestling minds in the planet, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, who could have booked some fucking great matches, because he even honestly constantly says, he literally says like half of the women wrestlers in AEW, he even talks about it on his podcast. Half the women's wrestlers on AEW, he's like, I know how talented they can be, but they never use any of them. He's like, half of the roster that they don't use are talented, but then the other half that they do use constantly get overplayed and overboard, and the fans are starting to sour on them. And if he's able to notice that, and like he even said, I'm willing to help, and Colin was like, eh.
And I'm just thinking about the, I'm sorry.
I'll get Goldberg to book the matches instead.
sorry about that.
No, that was it. That's just it. I'm like, that just proves.
No, I'm just thinking about oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say like I'm just thinking about dance off episode of Dynamite. Obviously they were padding out, but then the fact that they had that random match with Britt Baker coming out there to a jobber. The match was like 20 seconds, if that long. I don't know. It was like a blink and you miss it match,
Yeah. Even Taya Valkyrie made it.
Point was why send them out. I know you needed extra time. Just throw Daniel Garcia out to do another dance somewhere or something. I mean,
they spend more time on the filler.
It just seemed like
they spend more time on the filler than they do on the matches, and it's literally what it is. And they're following in the same footsteps as WWE, but at the fair,
you're not supposed to copy WWE's mistakes, yo.
You're supposed to learn from them. And the thing of it is that's the funny thing is now WWE is getting better because all of it is like, yeah, it's somewhat filler, but it's like building to stories. But AEW's filler is just building to nothing. It's like, hey, Jericho might join Don Callis. And I'm like, okay. And that's bad for the JAS. Okay. Isn't that bad, you guys? Cool. Like, they're all bad guys. Why the fuck do I care? Like, it's like, what about the Blackpool Combat Club guys? They're bad. Yeah. And House of Black, they're really bad. Yeah. Hey, look, Orange Cassidy.
Okay.
What? I'm like, dude, this ADD, and then there's like, what the fuck are you doing? It's literally Mad Lib booking. it's Mad Lib booking of like Orange Cassidy versus
Shockmaster.
Pac. And then we'll have Battle Royal for the TNT title leading to All In. Yeah, genius.
But that's how they do it. You have to make up a story. Got to get a story going.
And then, like, it's so funny because I'm like, dude, I'm more invested with what's going on with, like, fucking FTR just being FTR and saying, we're going to whoop your ass. We're going to beat your ass. We're legit. Piss off. I'm like, yeah, good. More of this, please. And then they cut to, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but what about Hook? What about Hook? Here he is on a train. Think about it. About what? He's on a fucking train.
Yes, yeah, and the train goes by.
I know, but
that's what you.
Yeah, I know, but isn't it a metaphor for like? Isn't it a?
Mark missed that.
It's like, isn't it a? Don't you get it? The metaphor. He's a runaway train, but it's not running away. It's just a train. It's like, yeah, but think about it. There's nothing to. God damn it, Tony! Get off the.
We're on the train. We're on the train. We're on the motherfucking train, yo.
And it's like, and then they're like, oh, and then guys, aren't you all devastated that Billy Gunn put his boots in the ring? That means he's gonna retire. I'm like, dude, the dude's like almost 60. The dude's like in his 70s, almost 60, and is almost his 70s. Boo fucking who? Like, who gives a shit? But what about Daddy Ass? I don't give a fuck. I'm more concerned with what's going on. And then I love how he's walking away all sad. That's the perfect contrast to AEW. The contrast of Billy Gunn crying and going, I guess my career's over. While walking back, hearing the crowd goes, "Oh, scissor me, daddy." Oh, I'm like, I couldn't write a better fucking script. That is, that's like, it's pure, like that. You get what you fucking, it's like that scene at the end of Joker. You get what you fucking deserve. That's what I feel like. I'm like, you reap what you sow, guys. You can't have a serious moment with daddy ass. Like, what about what he's given to the industry? Yeah, guys, what about what he's given to the industry? He's giving it. Giving it. And it's like, who gives a shit? I would be more sad if they did that same thing. Legitimately, take that same thing where he puts, like, they fight the House of Black or whatever, and then Malachi whispers in his ear something, and then he puts his boots off. Imagine if that same situation, okay, same scenario, replace the Acclaimed with Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes. And Dustin Rhodes did it. All of us would be like, oh, man. You know what I mean? Like, we would all be like, oh, that's fucked up. Like, you know, then it would be more gravity.
I don't know what he would have whispered to Dustin Rhodes, but I think the daddy ass, he probably whispered, "You're not funny."
He'd go, "You're going in the Hall of Fame." He's like, "Oh, got it. Bye." He's like, I loved your gold paint. Where do you buy it from?" And then Goldust is like, and then he's like, "I think I have some in the back." And then he takes off his boots. He fucking leaves. Like, I'm just playing. Anyway,
all right,
that's enough of me.
So anyways, the pay-per-view, overall, I don't know, man. This one had a lot of boring, like, kind of matches that I just couldn't get invested in. And I think the biggest negative thing is that one of the championship matches, the part of the quote-unquote double main event, because for me, the main event was just the women's match. The other one's like, you know,
there was no double main event. There's just the main event.
For me, that was the main event. You know,
that was the main event. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not good that I don't care about one of the double main event. You know what I mean? So for me, I mean, the Daniel Garcia stuff was memorable because it was cheesy. It wasn't good, but it was cheesy. The Dark Order with the Righteous, I love all the craziness, and I love the whole, you know, just the idea that this is like Stu Grayson and Uno like staring at each other, you know, you betrayed us, all this, like, it all came to a head, you know what I mean? And just the epic visual of what's the thing, Uno with the 2x4 covered in barbed wire, you know, with blood and part of the mask torn out. It just, I mean, it made the Dark Order look badass again instead of, like, you know, what Cornette says, the Dork Order, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And then the main event with Willow and Athena, like those are the matches. But everything else for me is like take it or leave it or change it for something else. You know what I mean?
Willow, Athena. I mean, the other matches, some had their moments or whatever. They had their moments. They're okay in some ways. And you got that cluster, you know what? That was a mess with that four-way tag match nonsense. Ugh. But like I said, Athena, Willow's match, that was just the main highlight for me. All the other matches, and I did like learning about Gravity. You know, I got to see him, you know, so that was a nice introduction to him. But forget the rest of the show. Just to watch Athena was actually worth the whole show. And the one match on this card that wasn't worth being there at all, in my opinion, aside for that four-way match, is Pac and Claudio. It shouldn't have been there. It wasn't worthy. I don't even think it's Rampage worthy. It just didn't belong. They could have filled it with something else. And like I said, I'm super duper casual and I picked up on it. That is sad, Tony. Get some help. Bring it Bret Hart. You need it.
What do you think?
You know, like I did want to say, I do remember, the only thing I remember about the Gravity versus Commander match is, you know, amongst all the flippy shit, is that when Gravity won, I just had to rub it in and tell Jupi that, damn, I guess Commander
Oh.
didn't grasp the gravity of the situation.
That
Yep.
damn it. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I was like,
That's a good one.
you
That's
think
actually
you
really
like
good.
that old corny old dude.
Anyway,
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
getting up there in age.
I mean, I was still
you
laughing,
don't need
but
kids
still.
to make dad jokes. You're
Go-
able
go-
to make
go-
dad jokes even without having kids.
go ahead, Johnny. What do you think? No, I'll go after.
All I
So
gotta say about Johnny though is that we have to find out what his secret is, because Johnny has not aged in the last 10 years. If you look at him, just look at that face. It has not changed at all in the last 10 years or so.
Keep it dancing.
Like he keeps him young. You know?
Okay.
So that's what happened. That's what happened. Daniel Garcia was walking out of a match one of those days, and he ran into Johnny, and Johnny's like, "Oh man, I love your show. It's cool. We're oh yeah, thanks, man. You okay, man? Yeah, the thing is, like I don't know, man. I don't know what I can do to wrestle with the audience. It's like I got the skills and stuff. I'm with Jericho and stuff, but I don't really have anything that sets me apart. You know what I mean? I'm just like another guy. Like what can I do? I'm not good with the gimmick stuff. What can I do?" And Johnny's like, "Hey, I got a thing just for you, man. You just gotta wear some tight leather pants. You gotta start doing the, And it's like, is that gonna work? Oh, trust me. They won't stop talking about your dancing. Trust me."
Oh my God.
Okay, John, we're sorry. Go ahead.
It's
And you had grown with him, right?
only in hell I ever met Daniel Garcia at all. So I don't know what dimension you're talking about, bro, but I'm not nowhere near that area. I meet every day, like, and tell them, hey, you know what? You need to do this instead of doing that to become more popular, more, relatable to the public, and for the AEW get more ratings, yo. No, but in all seriousness, this pay-per-view was actually, this is kind of weird. The pay-per-view itself, like the matches were still like, I was still very entertained with most of the matches in this pay-per-view, but the booking was out of whack. It's like you have decent matches, but the booking is just like, okay, why are these guys fighting versus this person? Like, when did this happen? The only match, honestly, that I see like super legit, that's the only reason you should watch the pay-per-view is just the women's match. Willow versus Athena. That's really pretty much the only reason why you need to watch this pay-per-view. Other than that, most of the matches, I mean, there were some good matches here and there, but they're pretty much forgettable because like the booking is just so weird and so out of place. And maybe it's just me because I don't recognize a lot of these wrestlers either, so maybe that has to do with it. But to me, it just feels like, what am I watching? Like, what is this? I mean, the only other booking, I know we're talking a lot about Daniel Garcia, but the only thing I could agree with this Daniel Garcia fight versus Shibata is that at least he still did some sort of storyline behind that match. But all the other matches, it's like there's no build-up. There was really no reason why.
The only other match that had a build-up besides Garcia, besides Garcia and Shibata and Nightingale and Athena was Dalton and Samoa Joe, because they had that whole like 2 weeks of like a tournament. And it's funny that I think all of us kind of collectively, maybe I'm misreading the room, all of us collectively like the Dalton Joe match versus than the world title match, and that's really bad. We shouldn't be as more invested in that match than we were with the Pac versus, but that shows the lack of pre-planning.
Yeah, it's just Tony Khan, being Tony Khan. And I was entertained with the Lego match. That was entertaining. Legos! But other than that, I mean, it's a strange feeling. Like the pay-per-view was still very entertaining. I was not bored at all. Nothing as boring compared to the freaking Double or Nothing. That was a disaster.
Yeah, that's true. I'm like, it could be worse. You're right. It could be worse.
Nothing. It came up nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is this Double or Nothing? I don't know what you speak of.
I left. As soon as you mentioned Double or Nothing, Johnny. As soon as you mentioned Double or Nothing, I just imagined. So imagine going at a pay-per-view. It's like, all right, guys, Double or Nothing, and then getting in your car and driving off.
I have to say, Double or Nothing was extremely disappointing because the first Double or Nothing that they did in Vegas was badass.
It was amazing.
And this Double or Nothing to be half-assed compared to badass, there's
well, no, the one before that was great. Like the last one, not this past one. The one before had like Punk and Hangman. It had a bunch of great matches, but like I said, it's exactly what I said. The fact that this past Double or Nothing was the first time out of all of them I wasn't there, that says more volumes than anything because I've been at every one of them. I was at the press conference before AEW even was created. And I'm like, dude, this is garbage. I'm like, I'm not going to pay at the T-Mobile Arena to see this shit.
Now, speaking of paying, I hope they slow this shit down. It's getting ridiculous because already next month we have another AEW pay-per-view. I know technically speaking they're two different companies, but you know what I mean? So, like, give us a break in September or October or something. We can't be or drop the price some because we can't be paying no $50 every month or so. I mean, it wasn't so bad when it was just 4 pay-per-views and okay, maybe God Forbidden Door's an exception or okay, Ring of Honor's coming back, but like every month, like
wasn't that one of the big selling points for AEW in the beginning was basically saying like we're not going to have a pay-per-view every month. We're going to have 4 in total every year. Like that was what they said.
I know it's kind of like, okay, granted they're $50, but it's just for a year. But, you keep doing this shit. Because then you're going to have that all out, too. All out. So they're still going to have all in, like,
Can I add something else? Double or Nothing was so bad that not even the TikTok song, with Jay Cargill in the ring where they're singing the Pretty Girl Walk Like This. Even that song couldn't save the event. That's how horrible. That song's popular on TikTok, by the way. So that's how horrible that pay-per-view is. Not even a TikTok song could have saved the event.
Yeah, it was just awful. But about this pay-per-view, I will say, I think I'm gonna. The best way I can explain this pay-per-view, at least the way it makes me feel, is imagine you go to a drive-through. Like imagine you went to, I don't know, Burger King or McDonald's. Yeah,
drive-thrus are always awesome.
Like imagine you went to a drive-through and you ordered your food.
Yeah.
And then you get home and not only is it not the food you wanted, it's someone else's order. And it's the most random order you've ever seen. And then you look at the side of the bag and it's not even from the fucking restaurant you were at or at even the fast food place you're at. And you're like, I was just at fucking Wendy's. Why am I getting a KFC bag? And then on top of that, why is there chicken nuggets, a Frosty, a fillet of fish, and a Whopper? How the fuck did you get a Whopper and a Big Mac and a fillet of fish and a Frosty and I'm at fucking Wendy's? How did this happen? What happened here? And then you're like, but hey, I got a Frosty out of it. That's awesome. Like, that's kind of the best way I could feel about it. I'm like, hey, cool, I got a Whopper and a Frosty. Cool. Like, it's not at all what I wanted at all or what I ordered at all, but that's what it feels like. Maybe, I guess that's me. That's like the best way I could describe what I feel like. I'm like, cool, I guess. Like
random shit they ain't care about, but you got that Willow and Athena match.
Yeah, and then you get like a kid's toy that's been discontinued for like 10 years. It's like, what the fuck? How did I get an Avatar Avatar fucking toy. Like from 2009. How did this get in here? What? Like, that's kind of what I feel like. I'm like, what did I even get? What? Where did I sleep dimensions in the terrible book?
You go to McDonald's for a Ninja Turtles Happy Meal because, you know, the new movie's coming out and you get an Avatar toy.
Yeah. And you're like,
Popeyes to get the Popeyes, you know, chicken burger thing they have. Instead of getting their epic chicken burger, you're getting a McDonald's burger.
Yeah, you're like, the fuck? How did I get a Big Mac at Popeyes? How the fuck did that happen? That's what I feel like. I don't know. Maybe do you guys know what I mean? Like, to quote Vincent, you see, you know, dig what I'm saying? That's kind of what I feel like. But I'm like, really, like, I'm like, the highlights of the show, number one, Athena and Willow stole the show. They stole the show. Hands down match of the night. Second was Dalton and Joe. And then the rest of them were kind of like a grab bag of randomness. The highlight positive just on an out of the pay-per-view for me was that Aussie Open won the tag titles. I was irritated as shit how they won it because, like, it was, like I said, it was so hard to watch the match or pay attention to it. The 6-man tag title match didn't have to happen. The fucking world title match could have just been saved for next pay-per-view. The Gravity Commander match, which I had very little investment in, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. But like I said, that's how I feel. I'm like, okay, this isn't what I ordered. And I really don't feel like getting in my car and going back and getting my actual food. I guess I'll stick with this random assortment of bullshit. It's like going to trick or treat, and instead of getting candy, you get fucking ham hocks and fucking barbecue and fucking enchiladas, and you're like, the fuck?
Dang.
What the fuck did I get?
Where did you trick or treat?
That's what I'm like. Where the fuck did I go to get this stuff? It's like, but ooh, look, I got some. Look, I did get some Snickers. What the?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind some enchiladas.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I feel. It's like, and here's your candy, and here's your enchiladas, and here's your ham hocks, and here's your roast beef. Don't forget your chile relleno.
Anyway. My God. Okay,
anyway.
we're all going way too off topic.
Anyway, that's my thoughts on the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically Tony Khan, he made some decisions with this pay-per-view, and it really shows. I'll just leave it at that.
All over the place.
Yep. That's any final thoughts there, Wendy? Just to close us off. I think we're all kind of at this point we're kind of going in circles. We all kind of gave our thoughts, but any final things, Wendy?
Oh, final thoughts? It's a D-. This whole show is a D-. It was weak. Just a very weak pay-per-view to me. No, I can't give it a D-. I give it a D+. Double or Nothing gets like a 0. So double times 0 is 0.
So Jupi, you would say this wasn't so.
I don't know.
So Jupi, let me ask you. So this pay-per-view wasn't so Dishonor? I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry.
Good night, everybody. I don't know. I don't have any more thoughts on this pay-per-view. Like I said, it was just so... It was just very disappointing. And also, like you said, I really wish he would stick with just the number of pay-per-views per year, because I think that was the problem with WWE when they had started to have too many shows a year, and it's just oversaturating to me. And I feel in the same way that Tony's trying to do the same thing. It's like he's trying to outdo WWE, and I wish he wouldn't. And, it should be quality over quantity, and he's focusing on too much on quantity right now, because you can't concentrate as best as you can when you have too much going on. And so far, it's okay, but it's still new, and let's see how long he is okay until he screws it up. And then you got Rampage, that's like a beast, and you got all of that, plus that other show he has about the wrestlers and all that stuff. And he has like 50, want to do like 50 pay-per-views a year, but he can't even book them because he can't remember the schedule of all of the roster. So it shows, and like I said, the quality of this shows, the lack of quality shows with this pay-per-view, and also Double or Nothing is another good deal of quality. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, so we'll wrap it up and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. We'll see how it goes next month, which is what, next week already. We're gonna have another pay-per-view, which is AEW's turn. We'll see how that goes. We'll do our, predictions and stuff, and also our, review of it afterwards. So we'll see what happens there. Because I guess expect a lot more podcast episodes, because we really are like making more of these things. I mean, geez, I mean, sometimes, it's good and bad, because in a way we know you guys can't get enough of us. Y'all love us out there on YouTube. But on the other side, it makes it, because before they were so few and far between, that we make another podcast. It's like, hey, remember us from like 3 months ago? We're still here. So more diving cutter content for you guys out there, for people with sleeping problems with insomnia. But we'll see what happens next month. But oh man, so much. We got pay-per-view. I don't know what it is. I don't think it's all in yet.
I don't think All In is All In a pay-per-view. I don't think it is.
I think it might be. I don't know.
I think it's like one of those premium things. I don't think it's a pay-per-view. I think they're kind of going to do it like Fyter Fest, I think.
Well, we'll see. But I do know there's one next month, and there'll probably be a Ring of Honor one the month after that, or some bullshit. I don't know. But and then the 1 month there's nothing going on, they'll probably do like Impact versus AEW crossover event, just for the sake of.
Hey, that would be awesome. I'd be happy, because they're already doing Multiverse United too with New Japan, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. All right, amigos, that wraps it up for this episode of the Diving Cutter Wrestling Podcast, America's #1 cure for insomnia. If you have trouble sleeping, if you're having like the shakes and stuff, but you haven't slept for 3 days in a row, just plug us in, knock you right out. So this is Mark Rodriguez here, and signing off, and with me are
Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews.
Wendy, also known as Jupi-chan or Ninja Jupi, you can choose, and the only dancing Johnny
Rodriguez. Next time, guys.
Yep. Catch you later, amigos.